So in this video, there's the webcam. In this video, we're going to talk about topic 0.8, solving trigonometric equations. We are going to try to get through this whole thing today so we can spend some time reviewing next week. So this, again, always your last name and your first name on the notes. Okay, and then don't forget to write the essential question and the I can statement. We're going to basically learn how to solve trig equations in multiple forms today. And then always 2 comments or questions between the I can statements, essential question, and the summary. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera so you don't have to stare at the ceiling. All right, so we're going to find all the solutions of the equation in the interval between 0 and 2 pi. That means I'm only working within 1 revolution around the unit circle. So I am going to use our inverse trig to help us reverse these things, because that was a part where I didn't think in the years past that students have been understanding. So I'm just going to rewrite my cosine of x equals, and I'm going to leave some space in there for that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, in order to get rid of cosine, what I really need to do is do the cosine inverse, or the arc cosine of both sides. So this cancels here, and I'm solving for that angle x that's in there. Well, what this means is I go back to my unit circle, okay? I know that this is going to be one of the x coordinates, and I need to find the radian measure. Now, in these problems, unlike inverse trig, I use any answer that I can find, okay? So only if the problem starts with an arc sine or an arc cosine do you only do quadrant 2 and 1 and 4, or just 1 and 2, okay? So I'm going to go find any x value that's negative square root of 3 over 2. Here's one of them. So I'm going to use this radian measure, 5 pi over 6. And here's another one of them. So I'm going to use that radian measure, 7 pi over 6. I'm going to keep looking, and nothing else negative. Typically, there are 2 to 4 answers on these. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to kind of arc sine. I'm going to be lazy about it, and arc sine both sides. Okay, so that means in order to find x, I am looking for the y value anytime the y value is square root of 2 over 2, because sine is the y value. So I'm looking for positive square root of 2 over 2. There is my radian measure, so one of them. I'm going to keep looking for positive square root of 2 over 2. There's 3 pi over 4. I'm going to keep looking just to double check. That one's negative. That one's negative, so it looks like I'm good. All right, the next one says we want the secant of negative square root of 2. We know secant is not one of the values that we get on the unit circle, because we can only do sine and cosine. So I'm going to switch this to a cosine. I'm going to use the reciprocal identity. So we get negative 1 over square root of 2. I know that's not what it looks like, so I'm going to rationalize a little bit. So I really need negative, I know where the cosine is negative square root of 2 over 2, or really, I am taking the arc cosine of both sides. So x equals the angle measure where that is the x value. So I'm looking around my unit circle. There's an x value, so I'm using that angle measure, 3 pi over 4. I keep looking for there's another negative one, so I'm using that angle measure right there, 5 pi over 4. I'm going to keep checking my x values. Everything else looks good. Okay. All right, tangent of negative 1. So we know that tangent is the sine divided by the cosine. So actually, first I'm going to arctangent both sides. So arctangent, okay? Which means these guys cancel, and I get x equals the arctangent of negative 1. Which really means that I know I have negative 1 over 1, or 1 over negative 1, meaning I need the x and the y value to be the same, but have opposite signs. So we're looking for a same x and y value with opposite signs. Okay, I'm going to start at 0. I have the same x and y, but the signs are the same. Keep looking. Same x and y, signs are opposite, so I'm going to use 3 pi over 4. Okay, I'm going to keep looking. Same value, but the signs are the same. So I'm going to keep going. Same x and y, signs are opposite, so I'm using 7 pi over 4.